Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you another great lesson about sports, part of our sports series.
That's right. And in this lesson, we are talking about maybe the world's most favorite sport.
Right. One of the most popular sports in the world, soccer, or also known as football in other countries.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get started with this great lesson, let's take a look at some of the words we'll find in the dialogue in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
We're going to look at 3 words here. The first word is wingman.
Wingman.
A wingman.
Now, wingman isn't really related to soccer in any way,
Okay.
but it's a way of referring to somebody as your right hand,
So your helper.
your helper, your number one guy,
Okay.
right?
So a wingman is someone who helps you a lot.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Okay. Our next word, tied.
Tied.
They are tied.
They are tied. Now, this is an interesting word because tie can be a noun, verb, and an adjective, right?
Exactly. So in this case, they are tied. It's an adjective meaning.
They have the same score.
Okay. And a tie is.
Is a game that has ended with no winner or loser. Both of them had the same score.
Exactly. And so obviously the verb to tie is to reach the same score as your other team.
Exactly.
All right. Well, our third word can also be used as a noun and a verb, and it is foul.
Fouled.
Fouled
Okay, so to foul somebody.
is to do something to them that is not allowed in the sport.
Okay. And so when you do this, you have committed a foul.
Exactly.
Okay, so you use it in the same way, to foul or a foul. Interesting.
Well, we're going to hear these 3 words in context now. So why don't we listen to our soccer dialogue?
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but it's out of bounds.
That'll be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Robinho. And the ref has called him offside.
No question about it, he was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner. We have a foul. Oh no, Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick, he shoots, and he...
Okay, so Ecuador tied with Brazil in the 2022 World Cup.
Wow, Marco, I'm really happy to see that you are able to see so far into the future.
Well, I called it. So in 2022, if we do win the World Cup, you know who said it first.
All right. Do you have money on that?
Yes. All right. So apart from this, we saw some really great vocabulary in this lesson. So let's take a look at it now in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
All right, we've got a lot of soccer words for you, but they're all important. So let's take a look at the first one. Kickoff.
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 So a kickoff.
This is how you start a soccer game, right?
Right. So it's the very beginning. The referee blows the whistle and you kick the ball to another player. That's the kickoff.
Okay. So our next phrase, out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Okay. Out of bounds. This is a great word.
So in soccer, when the ball goes out of bounds, it goes outside the white lines, right?
Outside of the playing field.
Okay.
And you can use it in all other sports. You can use it in basketball. You can use it in tennis.
Or football or anything.
Right. So any part that is not for playing.
Out of bounds.
What's our next word?
Throw in.
A throw-in.
A throw-in.
Okay, so a throw-in. The ball goes out of bounds.
Uh-huh.
How do you put it back into play?
Obviously, a throw-in.
Okay, so you throw in the ball. That's the only time where a soccer player will actually grab the ball with his hands.
All right, now another soccer term we have here, offside.
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 Okay, so this is a little bit difficult to explain, but just imagine you're on the soccer field
Uh-huh.
and you are trying to score a goal. Now
Okay.
you have some defenders, right?
Right.
Those are the people who are trying to take the ball away. And you pass the ball to somebody who is behind the defenders.
Oh, and that person is offside.
Exactly. So you must be at all times in the same position as the defenders or in front of them, but you can't be all the way in the back.
Okay, so is this a noun or a verb or an adjective?
So this is an adjective. He is offside. That's his condition.
Okay, great. Excellent explanation, Marco. Thank you.
All right.
Now we're going to look at 3 different phrases for 3 types of kicks in soccer.
Okay. So let's take a look at this. The first one is goal kick.
A goal kick.
Okay, goal kick.
So who does the goal kick?
It's usually the goalie or the goalkeeper
All right.
who takes the goal kick.
Okay, so when the goalie kicks the ball. Mm-hmm. Now, what about a corner kick?
Okay, so if the team is attacking and the ball goes out of bounds in the back area near the goal, then they get a corner kick. They got to kick the ball from the corner of the field.
This is a great chance to score a goal, isn't it?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, and our final kick, a penalty kick.
Penalty kick.
Penalty kick.
So if a player gets fouled while he is in the area near the goal,
Okay.
he gets a penalty kick. So basically it's just him. I think it's 13 or 15 steps away from the goalie. And he gets the opportunity to score or to kick the ball.
So there are no defenders or other players in the way.
Nobody.
Wow, another great chance to score a goal.
Right.
All right, well, these are all great soccer words, and I think we should hear them again in context. So let's listen, this time a little bit slower.
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and, as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today, as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but oh, it's out of bounds.
That will be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Rubinho, and the ref has called him offside.
No question about it. He was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner, and we have a foul. Oh no. Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick. He shoots. And he...
All right, so we heard these words that we were talking about in context, and now some really interesting phrases came up, and this would be a good time to take a look at them in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Well, Marco, there are 3 great phrases in this dialogue that I want to look at. The first one, on the brink of.
We are on the brink of.
We're on the brink of soccer history.
Okay, so on the brink of, what exactly does that mean?
Well, why don't we hear some examples to help us understand the meaning?
Example 1.
Look, we don't have any money. We're on the brink of going bankrupt.
Example 2.
The two countries are on the brink of war.
Example 3.
We're on the brink of an important discovery.
All right, so great examples on the brink of, at a critical point.
Exactly. It means you're almost there, right?
Okay, yeah, very good. And what about this next phrase that I saw, and it was really interesting? No question about it.
No question about it.
No question about it.
No question about it.
All right, so this is a statement that doesn't really make much sense. But what am I saying when I say, oh, no question about it?
You're saying, I agree. There is no doubt. You're right.
You're right. Okay.
Well, let's give some examples. I could say, there's no question about it. Ecuador is a great soccer team.
There is no question about that. All right, so, or you can say, no question about it. Our company makes the best products on the market.
Okay, so really useful phrase that you can use in sports or anywhere else.
Okay. And now let's take a look at our last phrase for Fluency Builder, and it's a really good one to exaggerate a little bit.
Okay.
By a mile.
By a mile.
By a mile.
So he was offside by a mile.
Right. So the commentator is saying that he was very offside.
That it was really obvious.
Right. So you can use that also in different contexts, maybe not in sports.
Okay. So maybe we can say our company is ahead of all the others by a mile.
Right. Or if you tell somebody to guess your age and they say, oh, I think you are 42.
Oh, you could say you're off by a mile.
Right.
So you're really, really wrong.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a way of exaggerating a little bit.
Yes, and saying it's really obvious.
Right.
Well, 3 awesome phrases, and I think it will help us to hear them one more time. So let's listen to the dialogue.
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but it's out of bounds.
That'll be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Robinho. And the ref has called him offside.
No question about it. He was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner. We have a foul. Oh no, Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick, he shoots, and he...
Okay, well, as you all may know, soccer is a very popular sport, especially in Latin America.
That's right. And your favorite team, Ecuador, are they really this good in soccer? Are they really going to win the 2022 Cup?
Well, maybe not. Well, actually, Ecuador has improved with time, but usually it's the strong teams like Argentina and Brazil who dominate the region, right?
Right.
But yeah, hopefully we'll make it next time.
Okay, well, I have my money on Ecuador and
For 2022.
but yeah, not on Canada. There's no hope for us.
Well, Canada is doing really well now. They actually beat Mexico, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, actually, that sort of, yeah, I kind of remember that now. But I think there's no hope for us to beat Brazil or Argentina, one of these big countries.
We have the next World Cup coming up, so it's really exciting, and I don't know who's going to win.
All right, well, listeners, who do you think is going to win? Who is the best soccer team out there?
Right. There are really good soccer teams, although some countries aren't really known for their soccer, like Russia. You don't really hear too much soccer from Russia.
Really?
Or from China, is for that.
I wonder how popular it is in these countries.
So let us know. Come to our website, englishpod.com. Tell us how popular soccer is in your country, or what team you are a fan of. I know many people like the European Cups and they're fans of Barcelona or the Italian teams.
Well, come to the website. Marco and I are always around to answer your questions. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Wingman. On the brink. Tied. Kickoff. Throw in. No question about it. By a mile. Foul. Penalty kick. Goal kick. Corner kick. Out of bounds. Offside. Goalkeeper. Defender. Match. Pitch. Championship. Let's try that faster. Kickoff. Defender. Goal kick. On the brink. Wingman. Penalty kick. Championship. Offside. Goalkeeper. No question about it. Out of bounds. Match. Tied. By a mile. Pitch. Throw in. Foul. Corner kick. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. On the brink. Look, we don't have any money. We're on the brink of going bankrupt. On the brink. The two countries are on the brink of war. On the brink. We are on the brink of an important discovery. No question about it. No question about it, Ecuador has a great soccer team. No question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. That was the best game of the series. No question about it. There's no question about it. We're in a recession now. By a mile. He missed the goal by a mile. By a mile. No, that's wrong. You're off by a mile. By a mile. The competition is ahead of us by a mile. We tied the game at 3-3. What an amazing game. It's a tie. We're tied for first place. Foul. Hey, ref, that was a foul. Foul. Did you see that? Delgado fouled him as he tried to take a shot. Foul. The Brazilian player has several fouls. Welcome back, English learners. My name is Marco, and I'm joined here by the lovely
Erica.
And today we're going to be bringing you another great lesson, one of the lessons that you requested.
Yes, that's right. Actually, Maxim S requested this one.
Right. I think he's really into research and investigation, so we're bringing you a great lesson about this topic.
Okay, so I'm really excited to hear this dialogue all about research. So why don't we start listening to two university professors discussing an important question.
We've been over this 1,000 times. The data is irrefutable. Look, we've done extensive research, built studies, and read the literature, and there is conclusive evidence to support my theory.
Horowitz, I beg to differ. Even in your most recent study, the investigative approach was flawed. You know as well as I do, the collection of data was not systematic, and there's a large margin of error. To draw a definitive conclusion based on that data would be misleading.
That is preposterous.
You are trying to single-handedly solve one of the world's greatest mysteries, and yet you're oblivious to the fact that you're wrong.
I am not wrong. The chicken came first.
No! The egg came first!
The chicken.
Egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
All right, so interesting. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
It's an age-old question, isn't it?
And apparently, they are not going to agree anytime soon.
All right, well, what they can agree about is this awesome language. So why don't we take a look at it now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, on Language Takeaway today, we have some really great words, and this first one is really good. Irrefutable.
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 The data is irrefutable.
Okay, so if the professor says that the data is irrefutable, what does he mean by that?
He's saying that you cannot deny it. It is really, really true.
It is really true. There is no way this is a lie.
Exactly.
Okay. Irrefutable evidence, for example.
Yeah, that's a great phrase. All right, so the professor complained that Dr. Horowitz's experiment was flawed.
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 So, flawed. Is that an adjective, a verb, or a noun?
It is an adjective
Okay.
here. Now, when something is flawed, there is a problem with it, right?
Okay,
There's
so
a
it
mistake.
has an error.
Yep.
Okay. So this adjective is a way of saying that his experiment has a flaw.
A mistake.
A mistake.
Exactly.
So flawed is the adjective of a flaw.
Right.
Okay.
Now, the reason that his study or his experiment was flawed is because that it was not systematic.
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 So systematic. That's an interesting word.
Now, I think we can recognize the word system in here, right?
Right?
So when something is systematic, it follows a process.
A certain order.
Yes, a certain system.
Right. So that's basically what systematic means, to follow a certain order, to be more organized, right?
Exactly, yep.
Okay. And what about our next word?
Preposterous.
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 That is preposterous.
I love this phrase.
It usually goes together, right? That is preposterous.
Yep.
Okay, so what does it mean when I say that?
It means it's absurd. It's ridiculous.
Right. It doesn't make sense. I can't believe you said that.
All right. Well, this is a really interesting phrase, but I think it's a little bit more common when it's used by older people.
Yeah, I don't really see a young person going up to someone and say, hey, that's preposterous.
Yeah, but it is a wonderful phrase. Now, our final phrase for takeaway, oblivious.
Oblivious.
You're oblivious to the fact.
So a person that is oblivious to something.
They don't know, or they're unaware.
Okay, so they ignore maybe the facts, or
Exactly.
they don't see it.
Yeah, you're oblivious to the fact that we're in a recession.
Okay, or he is completely oblivious. You can just say it like that, right?
Yep, he doesn't know.
Okay, so we took a look at some of the great vocabulary we found in the dialogue, but there were also some really good phrases that I think we should look at.
Okay, and let's take a look at those and putting it together.
Putting it together.
You know, Marco, one of the things I love about English is the way that words seem to fit together, like blocks coming together. And here we have a lot of great examples of these words that fit together really nicely. Okay, so why don't we look at those? And our first one now is extensive research.
Extensive research.
Extensive research.
All right, so we know extensive means
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
So that's really good when you put it together. Extensive research. It means you have
A lot of research.
you have really studied, you have really looked things up. Okay, extensive research.
Another great research-related phrase here is conclusive evidence.
Conclusive evidence.
Conclusive evidence.
All right, now the first word there, conclusive.
When something is conclusive, you can't argue with it. It's the final decision. All right, well, the professor complained that Horowitz's investigative approach was flawed, right? Mm-hmm. So this is our next phrase, investigative approach.
Investigative approach.
Investigative approach.
Okay, so I remember the word investigate is a verb.
Yes?
But in this case, it's an
adjective.
adjective.
When something is investigative, it's obviously having to do with
An investigation. Mm-hmm. So the approach so when he said investigative approach.
just simply the way you investigate
The
problem.
The way he investigated. Okay. Very interesting. What about this other phrase that I saw? It was really interesting. Definitive conclusion.
Definitive conclusion.
So a definitive conclusion.
All right. Well, again, I think we know the word conclusion, right?
Okay.
So it's a final judgment or decision.
All right.
When something is definitive, you can't argue with it or change it.
Okay, so the conclusion or the final result is final. Like there is no way of arguing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Definitive conclusion.
This is some great language. So why don't we listen to it one more time in the dialogue?
We've been over this 1,000 times. The data is irrefutable. Look, we've done extensive research, built studies, and read the literature, and there is conclusive evidence to support my theory.
Horowitz, I beg to differ. Even in your most recent study, the investigative approach was flawed. You know as well as I do, the collection of data was not systematic, and there's a large margin of error. To draw a definitive conclusion based on that data would be misleading.
That is preposterous.
You are trying to single-handedly solve one of the world's greatest mysteries, and yet you're oblivious to the fact that you're wrong.
I am not wrong. The chicken came first.
No! The egg came first!
The chicken.
Egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
So, an interesting question. What do you think? What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, if you ask me, it was the egg.
It was the egg?
Yeah.
Interesting. What about why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side.
Do you think that's really the reason?
Well, there's a million different reasons, but this is great. I'm glad you brought that up because this is like the classic English joke.
The classic English joke, right? Why did the chicken cross the road? And the answer is always...
Well, there are a million answers. So, do you guys know any chicken jokes?
Yeah, why don't you come to our website, englishpod.com, and on the comments section, why don't you leave us your thoughts on what came first, the chicken or the egg, and why do you think the chicken crossed the road?
All right, well, we really look forward to hearing your ideas, and Marco and I will be around to answer your questions. So, I think we're out of time for today, but thanks for listening, and
We'll see you there.
goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Correct. Not able to be proved wrong.
Irrefutable.
Very full and complete study to find information.
Extensive research.
Using a careful system or method.
Systematic.
Having errors or mistake.
Flawed.
Crazy, foolish, or silly.
Preposterous.
Unaware or don't know.
Oblivious to.
Way of looking for information.
Investigative approach.
Do something on your own, without help.
Single-handedly.
A final judgment that is not able to be changed. That is final.
Definitive conclusion.
Find out if something is true.
Determine.
Show something to be true.
Indicate.
An argument that is capable of making people believe that point of view.
A compelling case.
A collection of facts that implies or suggests something to be true, but does not prove it.
Circumstantial evidence.
Linked or connected with.
Associated with.
Let's try that faster.
Unaware or don't know.
Oblivious to.
Having errors or mistake.
Flawed.
Find out if something is true.
Determine.
Correct. Not able to be proved wrong.
Irrefutable.
A collection of facts that implies or suggests something to be true, but does not prove it.
Circumstantial evidence.
Way of looking for information.
Investigative approach.
A final judgment that is not able to be changed. That is final.
Definitive conclusion.
Very full and complete study to find information.
Extensive research.
Linked or connected with.
Associated with.
Show something to be true.
Indicate.
Using a careful system or method.
Systematic.
Crazy, foolish, or silly.
Preposterous.
An argument that is capable of making people believe that point of view.
A compelling case.
Do something on your own, without help.
Single-handedly.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Irrefutable. Look, we have irrefutable evidence that he was the killer. Irrefutable. The facts are irrefutable. Smoking has a negative impact on your health. Irrefutable. The irrefutable truth is that there is a monster living in Lake Erie. Systematic. We need to approach this problem in a systematic way. Systematic. We did a systematic evaluation of the evidence. Systematic. He's a very systematic guy. He's very careful with his work. Neil is oblivious to what's going on around him. Are you oblivious to the truth? I was oblivious to the fact that there was a virus on my computer. Definitive conclusion. We have not come to any definitive conclusions yet. Definitive conclusion. Before you make a definitive conclusion, make sure you examine all the evidence. Definitive conclusion. The researchers failed to arrive at any definitive conclusions. We studied the problem carefully, and we found conclusive evidence of global warming. There's no conclusive evidence that links Diet Coke to health problems. There is conclusive evidence showing that smokers die younger.